Woman. 26 million followers, and I bet you're gonna sell 10,000 copies. And I bet you the album is already on clearance at Walmart. Don't fucking piss me off. I might be the nastiest bitch I've ever lived, but one thing I won't tell you is a lie. I'm not a liar. Call me a hater all you want, but one thing about me, my hating is always accurate as fuck. Actually, in this case, I was being generous because 6K is what you actually hit. 26 million followers on TikTok, and you couldn't sell 10,000 copies. Interesting. A fan tweets out and says, Lizzo not having a fan base is so weird to me when this woman was literally selling out arenas not even 2 years ago. Like, where did those people go? Lizzo responds and says, I actually can answer this. The industry changed so much in the last 3 years. Streaming replaced radio, and I was a radio darling. That's how my fans discovered my music. Not to mention the very obvious and public attack on my career changed things, but I'm out here doing my absolute best, and you can't knock a bitch for that. Talked about Lizzo a few times already up here, and like what I'm looking at the situation, like what I'm getting from it. I've discussed it, like, and why this flop is coming towards her, and there's a lot of things that went into it. The main one that I said was that I just don't think that she was ever really that organically successful. A lot of her false success was just advertisement being paid for by her label, and when her label pulled away that funding, suddenly the true colors are coming out and the real numbers are coming out. Excuse that you were a radio darling and you're not getting radio play anymore. That's a two-parter, right? And number one being is that you have 26 million followers on TikTok. So I just can't understand, like, how come your fans, 26 million of them, right, can't access your music that way. The second part of it goes back to my original point where it's like, she's like, I'm not a radio darling anymore. It's like, do you know how you become a radio darling? Your label pays for that. You are openly admitting to is that without the label shoving your music down people's throat, people are not voluntarily choosing to listen to your music, which was what my whole point was. I think radio is great for discovering an artist for the first time, but using the excuse as an established artist that the reason why your music is not doing well is because people are not hearing it on the radio, to me, it's just evidence that you never truly had a true strong fan base, especially in this point in time when people create these kind of insane parasocial relationships with their favorite musicians and they keep up with them consistently. That's what makes it possible for bigger stars to not even have to do promo. They can just drop and post one thing on Instagram or something, and then their albums start charting. Again, the fact that your music has to be shoved down people's throats and like force fed to them is just evidence that nobody really liked your music that much. About the obvious and public attacks on her character, which changed things, I agree. I 100% agree with that, but I discussed it. There was a million and one ways she could have cleaned this up, and she was too arrogant to do it the right way. Kind of goes back to what I've said in the past. This is delusion that everybody believes that they should be a personality hire, and this isn't a judgment on her character specifically, or at least not this part. Later will be, but not this part is not, right? The fact that you're not a personality hire does not mean that you're not a bad person. You might be a great person. You might be the most likable and most funny person to your family and to your friends, but not everybody can make a career off their personality. Actually, that's a very rare thing to be able to do. And Lizzo, for what we have seen, has a very, very acquired taste of a personality, but she keeps trying to shove it down her throats that she is a personality hire. And it's like the general public doesn't like your personality. It rubs them the wrong way. And there was a moment here, especially between the gap between albums, for her to rebrand as kind of like this silent powerhouse artist who just kind of giving like the Adele effect, right? Who just kind of came and showed up and showed people the music and would show up places and perform, and then after that would be gone and would go into hiding. There was a moment to create this aura of mystery around you and be this person who only comes out of hiding when it's time to drop music and just shows up in performance places and then keeps her mouth quiet. But you insisted on shoving your personality down people's throats. Doing shit like what I was critiquing in this one video, right, where she posted this about Love Island, basically talking shit about Melanie, where I'm just like, if the problem why your career blew up is because people thought that you were nasty and that you were mean and that you were a bully, why would you be posting shit like this? It just kind of proves that point. I have a hard time believing there's a single PR person on this earth who encouraged Lizzo to share more of her opinions, to talk, like, yes, you should talk to the world more. People love it. That was the experiment that you guys were trying. Well, here you go. Here's your answer about how people feel about it. I reviewed Lizzo's albums and you guys saw my thoughts on it. It's not a terrible album. It's not the worst music in the entire world. But the thing about it is that it's just okay, and it's not good enough to kind of overshadow all this other stuff. My hope is that Lizzo is done being arrogant and done trying to do things her way and will call in some real PR people and really rebrand. If you tried going the personality route, it did not work, people do not like it, it's done, it's time to rebrand.